Have you ever tried to extract data from a PDF only to find yourself stuck in a callback loop? It can be really frustrating, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're going to tackle how to get data out of callbacks in Node.js. I totally understand how annoying it is when you're trying to work with data but can only access it within a callback. You're not alone in this struggle. Many developers face similar challenges when working with asynchronous code. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, "How can I store data from a callback in a global variable?" They shared their code using the PDF text module and expressed their frustration about not being able to access the data outside the callback. Sound familiar? Let's dig into this together. So what's happening here? In JavaScript, callbacks are often used for asynchronous operations, which means the code inside the callback runs after the main code. This can make it tricky to access data outside of that callback. But don't worry, we can work around this. And stick around. I have a simple solution at the end that will help you manage your data more effectively. You won't want to miss it. To access the data outside of the callback, the user can utilize a promise. This allows the user to handle asynchronous operations more effectively. Next, the user should call this function and handle the resolved data. This can be done using the then method of the promise. If the user wants to store the chunks in a global variable, they can declare the variable outside of the function and assign the resolved data to it. Finally, the user can access the global variable output in other parts of their application after the promise has resolved. Fun fact, did you know that JavaScript was originally created in just 10 days? It has come a long way since then, but callbacks can still be a tricky part of the language. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user points out that the output variable will only contain the chunks data after the callback function is executed. They also highlight the need to properly close the callback function with a parenthesis. They demonstrate this by showing that calling another function before the callback sets the output to undefined, while calling it after the output is assigned shows the chunk's content. That's the end of that answer. Let's see another perspective. This user points out that you can't access the data outside of the callback because it only becomes available when the callback is executed. They suggest that instead of trying to use a global variable, you should create a function that can be called from within the callback. This function can then receive the data as a parameter. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. This user suggests using the async await feature available in Node.js version 8 and above. They recommend refactoring your code to create an asynchronous function that handles the PDF processing. However, the user notes that you cannot store the chunks as a global variable directly. Instead, they recommend exporting the function and passing different buffers in separate files. Here's the pro tip I promised. Always be mindful of where you declare your variables. Declaring them in the right scope can save you a lot of headaches down the road. And there you have it. You should now be able to access your PDF data outside of the callback. Remember, understanding scope is key in JavaScript. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we dive deeper into asynchronous programming.